Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like up. Bold and the beautiful fans can't fathom Steffy Forrester's recent silence concerning Taylor Hayes and her father on the CBS soap. For a woman who tends to take control and attempts to set things right, she failed this week. Steffy's lack of correcting a blatant wrong hit the viewers as rather odd. Bold and the Beautiful has Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline Massinswood, as her daddy's little girl. Ridge Forrester, Thorsten K., backs up his daughter even when she's wrong. One recent example is the moves she made, which ultimately led to the Forrester Creations takeover. But Ridge doesn't follow his daughter's lead. With Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, he has his own train of thought on Taylor. He puts his relationship with Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, first, and Steffy says she respects that relationship and won't interfere. Still, her actions say otherwise. But despite his committed relationship with Brooke Logan, it never stops Steffy from playing Cupid with Taylor and her dad. Growing up, Steffy became used to belonging to the family that played second fiddle to Brooke. But after she witnessed a little spark between her parents, this week on Bold and the Beautiful, she's off and running. Steffy vies for a reboot of her parents' relationship. But after what Ridge said about Taylor and her kids, fans think she is selling Taylor Hayes short. Bold and the Beautiful fans waited to hear Steffy Forrester's response to her father when he talked about Taylor Hayes this week. He called Taylor, Steffy, and her siblings his safety net, which outraged the B&B fans. But what the viewers expected never materialized from Steffy. Instead, her silence seemed to suggest she knew that what her father said had some truth to it. But worst of all, fans believe Steffy was fine with what Ridge said about his relationship with Taylor as long as it brings her parents back together. Other Bold and the Beautiful fans saw this as an emotional moment, so they suggested it went over her head. While Ridge seemingly poured out his heart about Taylor Hayes, he painted a picture of how he sees her and their family. And fans were astounded to hear him confess how he considers them his safety net. Bold and the Beautiful viewers asked what happened to the opinionated Steffy Forrester in this scene. Instead of calling her father out over what he said about Taylor, she seemingly ignored it. Fans wanted to see her stick up for her mother and herself too. Ridge seemed to think that Taylor and their children were his go-to people for a safety net. They hold a place for him where he can always find unconditional love. The description her father gave Steffy Forrester about Taylor Hayes and their family sounded awful to fans. It was as if Taylor was his consultation prize when things got rough. So instead of Steffy Forrester sitting idly by while her father referred to Taylor Hayes like a port in a storm, viewers expected something more from this daughter on the CBS soap. In the world of soap operas, where drama reigns supreme and silence can speak louder than words, few characters embody this paradox better than Steffy Forrester from The Bold and the Beautiful. Recently, her silence has been more than just a plot device. It has become a narrative force, subtly undermining her mother, Taylor Hayes, in ways that may have lasting repercussions. The mother-daughter bond between Taylor and Steffy has always been complex, a mosaic of love, loyalty, and sometimes silent judgment. Steffy, a fierce and independent spirit, has often been the voice of reason and the embodiment of strength within the Forrester family. However, her recent choice to remain silent amidst Taylor's struggles is being perceived as a betrayal by some and a strategic move by others. Silence in storytelling is powerful. It can signify strength, contemplation, or passive resistance. In Steffy's case, her decision to hold back words of support for her mother in the face of Ridge and Brooke's seemingly inevitable reconciliation sends a resounding message. Taylor has been fighting to reclaim her place in Ridge's heart, while Brooke's persistent presence looms like a shadow over every interaction. Steffy, usually a vocal advocate for her mother, seems to have taken a step back, allowing the silence to speak for her. Some fans argue that Steffy's silence is a strategic move, a way of giving Taylor space to find her own voice without relying on her daughter's influence. Others, however, see it as Steffy's subconscious acknowledgement that the battle for Ridge's heart is already lost. Regardless of the interpretation, the silence is deafening. Taylor Hayes has always been resilient, but her strength is rooted in the unwavering support of her family. Steffy's silence, therefore, feels like a withdrawal of that support, leaving Taylor more vulnerable than ever. For a mother who has faced countless trials, from battling her own demons to standing up against the ever-dominant presence of Brooke, having her daughter seemingly sidestep her struggles is a blow to her spirit. As Steffy remains quiet, Taylor's vulnerability becomes more apparent. The once fierce psychiatrist now appears lost, questioning not just her place in Ridge's life, but also her role within her own family. The subtle shift in dynamics is heartbreaking to watch, as Taylor appears to interpret her daughter's silence as a form of quiet resignation. The consequences of Steffy's silence extend beyond just her relationship with Taylor. The entire Forrester family dynamic is subtly shifting. Ridge, ever the conflicted lover, notices his daughter's withdrawal, interpreting it as silent approval of his rekindling relationship with Brooke. This perceived endorsement further isolates Taylor, positioning her as an outsider within her own clan. Moreover, Brooke, always the keen observer, sees Steffy's silence as a victory. The lack of resistance from one of Taylor's most ardent supporters emboldens her, allowing Brooke to maneuver closer to Ridge with newfound confidence. The absence of confrontation from Steffy indirectly aids Brooke's cause, pushing Taylor further into the background. For Steffy, silence is not weakness. It is a calculated decision, an attempt to avoid escalating the tension between the people she loves. Steffy knows that openly opposing her father's choices could drive a wedge between them, but standing firmly in her mother's corner would only deepen Taylor's heartache when Ridge inevitably gravitates back to Brooke. In Steffy's mind, silence becomes an imperfect solution, a way to preserve relationships without outright betrayal. Still, the cost of this silence is steep. Steffy, caught in the middle, risks losing the unwavering connection she has always shared with her mother. In trying to protect both her parents, she inadvertently ends up hurting the one who has always counted on her support. The burden of choosing between loyalty and pragmatism weighs heavily on Steffy, even if she remains outwardly stoic. As the drama unfolds, one must wonder, will Steffy's silence become a catalyst for change, forcing Taylor to rediscover her own strength without leaning on her daughter? Or will it deepen the rift within the Forrester family, giving Brooke the upper hand once more? The outcome remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: Steffy's silence has shifted the narrative in unexpected ways. In the unpredictable world of the bold and the beautiful, silence can sometimes speak the loudest. Steffy Forrester's choice to remain quiet may be an act of love or an admission of defeat, but regardless of its intention, the impact on Taylor is undeniable. In the battle between love and loyalty, Steffy's silence may ultimately sell Taylor short, leaving her more isolated than ever before.